Oh yeah, wait, I saw you like driving a Porsche.
Yeah,
and
like
then rolling up to valet and being like,
yeah.
sure, no problem, pay the $20.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Feel me? Like, what's the deal, YouTube? Look, man, we are back with another video, okay? Today we have a very special guest joining us today. If you watched the video of when I was doing yoga, then you know who this is, okay? We have Nicole joining us again today. This is actually her last day in Vietnam. We're about to have a little conversation. If you guys don't know, she also has a podcast, so make sure you go check that out. And yeah, man, so we about to get into the video. She should be on the way here. And yeah, stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe, okay?
Yeah, really wanted to talk to you because you're on this YouTube journey and you've like made it to this point where you're monetizing, and that's kind of like a crazy dream for some of us who are like, oh, maybe I want to dabble into it, and like, ooh, I would love to get paid by YouTube, but like there's obviously like a process to how you've gotten here, and I think it would be cool to like get to know that process, but also like get to know you and like your personal journey with moving basically to Vietnam.
Okay. Because
you said you probably aren't going to go back to the States.
Yeah, I don't plan on ever living in the States again.
But you grew up in Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I grew up at.
Your whole life?
My whole life. I've traveled a lot. I always give credit to my mom because my best friend, we met when we was in 6th grade, freshman year of high school. He's from San Diego, but he ended up moving to Rancho Cucamonga, like literally like a month into freshman year. And after freshman year, my mom, and it was like 3 of us, but my other best friend that was still in Atlanta, me, and we ended up going to visit him in California. So I was like 15 years old, went to California, and that shit was so different.
With your family?
No.
Or just you?
Just me and my best friend.
Aww.
We went to go stay with my other best friend.
Oh my god, wait, that's so fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Like, his mom and my mom, they're still close to this day. Like, I still talk to his mom to this day. Like, we're all like super, super close. But yeah, I did that when I was 15, and I always tell my mom, I'm like, that was like the first time I just, my mind was just open to seeing like, okay, it's like more to the world, right? Because California is like completely different. Like, it was like the movies, like like the parties, the house parties, like beer pong and like fucking balloons. People was doing balloons. Like, I'm like,
wait, what?
Yo, I'm like 15. I've never seen any of this stuff. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? I've never been at a party with alcohol.
I've never been to a party with balloons in California. Like, only in Vietnam.
I was literally like, yo, young shit. Like, this shit was crazy as hell. Yeah, nah, they was definitely doing that a long time ago. But yeah, and so just seeing that, like, even like, I think weed was probably legal then. I remember I went to Fairfax, and I like fucking Odd Future was there. Tyler the Creator and shit was there.
Wait,
like,
you like saw famous people?
Yo, like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And so I like instantly fell in love with California, and I've been so many times. Like, now at least like 5 to 8 times I've been out there.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I think that was like the beginning of this. Like, that was early stages. Even back then, like, fast forward, but like after high school and stuff, that's when I started getting in my creative space. I started making music, graphic designing, all of that stuff, because I wasn't into any of that growing up, like, at all. Never did any of that type of stuff. So yeah, I started traveling when I was pretty young, and then I just kept traveling. I went to Chicago, I went to New York, I went to Florida, Texas, fucking all over the U.S., Colorado, whatever, Arizona. Then I went to Costa Rica for the first time. That was my first time like out the country. I went on a cruise and shit like that. But
nice.
My first time out the country really was like Costa Rica. And then 2023, so like about 2 years ago now, that's when I went to Europe.
Me too. Oh yeah, we talked about this.
Yes, I went to Europe. I went to Paris, Madrid, Hamburg, Germany.
But only for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay.
But it was enough time to just like to see more outside of the U.S. Like, I'm like, okay, it's like very different out here. It's very different. And so yeah, at that point I knew, I'm like, okay, I have to make this a reality. I have to be out of the U.S. and still be able to like take care of myself and make sure all my bills are paid, etc., etc. And so I tested that out. I went to Costa Rica. So I came back from Europe in February. I went to Costa Rica in April, like late March, early April. Stayed for 3 weeks just to see how I would like being out the country for a while, and I loved it. And so I was like, okay, cool.
What did you do while you were there?
Just hang out.
Okay.
Like I was just trying to I wanted to just live a regular life and
Yeah.
see if I could enjoy living a regular life outside the U.S. And I loved it even more
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. of course. And so I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. And so I just started planning on making that a reality. And that's kind of where, I understood like, okay, I have to make money. I need to make money, and the most efficient way. I'm good at making money on the internet. That's what I'm good at. I'm like,
how do you
yeah.
know this?
I've been so good at it. I think
What?
since I was young though, like I was always on Tumblr. I was always like on Facebook posting pictures, like networking with like people in my county, just going to California, making friends. So I was always good at networking, and I was always good at keeping up with people on the internet, and I was always good at gaining a following.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like with the internet, oh my god, I have so many thoughts. And like, we're not going to have enough time to have all of this.
Yeah. We have to do part 2.
It's got to be like a foundational understanding
Yeah.
of you as a
Yeah,
person.
we'll
But
do part
like,
2.
we'll get there.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I feel like with the internet, sometimes I get kind of like, personally, I'm like, oh, it's the internet, or like thinking about like your social media friends, or when you travel and you meet super dope people and you're like really connected in this moment, but then sometimes it can feel like, oh, now we're friends on the internet, and you kind of keep up with their life, but it's like this weird thing of like, are they really friends, or like what's actually the dynamic at play? Because I feel connected, but at the same time it's like, what even is this following? And like people are literally watching your videos who don't know you. Like my podcast is different because it's like only friends and family and like friends of friends. For now, after I put this video out, it's gonna be whoever. Help me get paid, like shoe. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so it's interesting to hear like that you are like almost proud. No, you definitely are proud of like this skill that you have, because I've always been a little shy of it and been like, the internet, because there's so much of that like. Yeah, I think that's just how I grew up. Like even like my early like music influences, I love Wiz Khalifa, I love Soulja Boy, I love like people like that who were taking advantage of the internet, putting out vlogs and stuff a long time ago, putting out mixtapes a long time ago, like really working the internet. And so I think I'm kind of a student of the game. I saw it from the outside looking in, and so like now I'm on the inside, and I just think it's really cool. And like to your point, it's definitely that type of situation where it's like, are we friends or whatever, but I just look at it as, I try to just be as genuine as possible, right? I just try to be genuine, so when we're together, super genuine. If we run into each other again, like even when we was talking the other day, I'm like, this is just the beginning, like, we'll definitely hang out again in the future, it's, I don't know. I like to stay connected with people forever. I don't know what it is about me, and that's one of my favorite things about the internet. You make dope connections with people, and like you said, you could watch them grow as a person, and they can also watch me grow as a person. And it just comes down to just being genuine and your intentions. And I think I do a good job of expressing that. I'm never forcing it or anything like that. I'm just being myself, and I think people can feel that and sense that. And through that, I'm able to like inspire a lot of people. So it's a lot of positives that come out the internet, and I see the positives. And money is just a byproduct of everything else, just my people skills and me understanding human psychology and understanding the internet. But in my opinion, I look at it like it's two different worlds. Like the real world and the internet is just not the same thing at all. And I think once you begin to look at it like that,
it becomes less intimidating, and it becomes like more. It's like your friend, you know.
So such a good point. Like, it doesn't need to all blend in together and be
Yeah.
like, who am I in this world with this identity
Yeah.
of being a vlogger, but
Yeah.
also just being a human. It's
Yeah.
like you step into this role of like, okay, right now I'm YouTubing, right
Yeah.
now I'm vlogging, right now we're having an intentional conversation.
Yeah.
But outside of this, it's like, yeah, we're gonna continue our lives.
And that's how I look at it. It's
Yeah.
nothing. It's not any more complicated than that to me. It's just the internet and then real life. You know what I mean?
Help me understand why vlogs are so, like, sometimes I watch vlogs and I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I so interested in Hailey Bieber's like
Yeah.
game show and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, it's so like interesting, but then when I think of it, doing it in a creative space, I'm
Yeah.
like, who would want to listen to this
Yeah.
podcast or watch my videos?
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you're just starting and you have no one else besides your
Yeah.
friends and family, it's like a
Yeah.
whole different
See, my mindset is the
story.
complete opposite.
Okay.
I'm like, who the fuck wouldn't want to watch this? Right? I'm like, yo, this shit is cool. Like, how could people not like this? Like, what? That's how I look at it. I'm like, I'm from Atlanta. I live in Vietnam, and who wouldn't want to watch that?
So
Like,
true.
That's how I look at it, right? So, and even like your conversations, like, you talk about really cool things. You have a really, like I told you got a really cool vibe about yourself. You got a cool mindset, things of that nature. And so yeah, like, people will enjoy the conversations, and I don't know. So I'm confident in that about myself. I know what I'm doing. A lot of people aren't doing, and so it's not. It's just to me, it's just easy. It's just a matter of being consistent, and the more consistent I am, the more people will see, and yeah. But to your point though, I think it just comes down to, like, human nature is curious,
Yeah.
and so we're interested into other people's quote unquote reality, because we never see everything. Everything is like curated, and that's one thing about the internet. That's how I accept it as internet in real life, because nobody ever shows the full picture of what's going on, right? And nobody should, you know what I mean? Like, you should keep things personal. And so with that being said, you have to understand that whatever you see on the internet is always curated and is people's best moments, right? And when you look at it like that, then you understand, like, okay, there's no need to compare, because this person might have just posted this picture doing this thing, but they didn't post the past 2 months when they was like crying because they was dealing with this situation. You know what I mean? So when you understand that, it's like, okay, like, it's a game. You just play the game.
And even if you are crying like on camera, it is still different.
Yeah, it's still
because it's curated.
Yeah.
It's like, again, intentional. And I think, yeah, I was just thinking of this thing of like, what's the difference between being curated and being fake? Because like, you could consider it like a fake vlog or whatever, like the internet in general being fake, or like you could see it as something that's like, you know, that's something. What do you think about that?
I would
what
say
do you think?
I wouldn't even use the word fake. I would use more like facade. I think that's a more accurate term. I think, but not even to the extreme point, because, like, for example, like, I still think right now we're having a very real conversation, although it is curated and although it's intentional. We're still having a real conversation. So I think some content is just obviously fake, right? And I don't enjoy that, or like support or indulge in that. I think depending on what it is, if it's for strictly entertainment, okay, cool. But I don't like when people do something that's like strictly entertainment but pass it off as real. I think that, because like even nowadays I see people arguing about things, about takes. It'll be a video about something, right? And people will have a bunch of different takes on the video, but the video is fake. It's staged. That happens a lot.
So then they're like fighting over something
that's curated, not even real. And so I think that's like, I don't understand why somebody would even put that type of energy into the world. You know what I mean? Yes. But if you just like, if it's just something like entertaining, like a silly little whatever, like, okay, cool. But yeah, so I think it's a blurred line between like curated and fake. But I think if you just be authentic, then you should be good. If the camera's recording, the camera's just recording. But
I know, I'm like,
Yeah.
Now it's like,
It's chill, like it's just chill, like, you know what I mean. That's our friend, you know what I'm saying. And also how I look at it too is like, okay, this is like my friends. This is my audience. This is how I connect with people. You know what I mean. It's a camera, yeah, but it's like this is people.
Okay. I have so many questions. One, going back to like your family, but two, what is it that you want to curate for this video? Like, what's, honestly, what do you hope that people get out of this?
I hope that I'm able to shed light on your ideas and your conversations, and people will support you through this. That's my hope.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I hope people get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And also learn, if they want to like get into these kinds of things, how it happened for you specifically.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not going to happen like in the same way.
Yeah.
But I'm so curious what your childhood was like, because growing up with 3 older brothers, I feel like I was just shat on a lot.
Yeah.
And so working through like negative beliefs or just like a negative image that I have in my mind around life, sounds like you're super positive and very optimistic, and like the fact that your mom flew you out to California when you were 15. Was it a supportive family, or what was the dynamic?
Extremely supportive.
Oh,
like,
wow.
To this day, they watch all my videos. My dad posts all my videos on his Facebook.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like to this day, like super supportive, and it's always been like that. I grew up playing baseball. Every single practice, my mom's gonna pick me up. My dad's at every single game, like helping me this that, and the third. So whatever it is I wanted to do, they always supported me when I was making music. I would have like concerts and shows. My dad is there singing, rapping every single lyric. You know what I mean? Like, so super supportive. My parents never really like tried to mold me into anything. Whatever it is that I wanted to do, they just like allowed me to do it. And yeah, so it was just like super supportive, and so yeah. But even still, like my mindset, I'm so optimistic. I really believe anything I want to do, I can do it. And regardless of who supports me, who doesn't, I'm gonna do it regardless. It doesn't matter. Even if I fail at it, it's like I don't even care.
Do you think that's because your parents were so supportive of you growing up?
No.
Or is it because you're in Aries with a Gemini moon and a Scorpio
rising? It could be that. It could be that. I honestly think like, so this is crazy, right? So, I don't know if you know this. It's this rapper, right? His name is like Lil B. I don't know if you heard of him before. Lil B, the bass guy. But he had this whole movement, and the whole movement was literally like spread love, be positive, and be yourself, right? And I was like that was like, I listened to him like crazy. I went through like a big phase of like listening to his music or whatever. And so I adapted that. That's probably when I was like 13, 14, 15. And those were like very like core foundational years. And so I believe like, honestly, like he like molded me to really just not care and just be myself and be positive.
Interesting.
And yeah, and so like that, like, and like I said, I like Wiz Khalifa a lot too. Like he was carefree, smoking weed, this, that, and the third. So my influence, like I believe that probably played more of a role than anything else.
Whoa.
Yeah, my music.
It's like when you're 13, all you care about is what other people think of. Like there's no
but
like.
Even like I said, I used to love Our Future, and their whole thing was like, fuck what everybody else thinks. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's how I grew up. Just, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Like, just do you, whether people think it's weird, whether people think it's cool. Like, just do what makes you happy, and try not to like, and be positive at the same time, right? And so that's how I grew up, and I just kept that going.
That's so amazing. I'm so jealous. And like, so what have you gone through then?
I've been through so much shit though, but it's just like, to me, it's just, that's just a part of life. I just don't even dwell on it. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot of stuff, like crazy shit. Like, you know what I mean? I've seen some crazy things in my life. But it's just, I just choose not to like even dwell on it. Like that stuff doesn't even sit in my mind. But even the good things really don't even sit in my mind. Like I've done so much. I've been in rooms that people pray to be in. You know, I've been in rooms. I've been in studio sessions with Young Thug. I've been like all this type of stuff, but that isn't. I don't dwell on that type of stuff. So good or bad, I just don't dwell on anything.
Oh yeah, wait, I saw you like driving a Porsche.
Yeah, like
and then rolling up to valet and being like,
yeah,
sure, no problem, pay the $20.
yeah,
I don't
you
care.
feel me? Like yeah, so like I don't know. It's just and that's just not even something I dwell on. It's cool. I document it right for other people to see, like, and for me to look back on because it is cool. But I don't dwell on it. So like good or bad, it's just life, and I'm just focused on like now and tomorrow, making tomorrow a good day.
Do you ever question yourself? Because we can always be optimistic and positive, but on the other side of that, like with your Gemini, it's like what's on the other side of like being so confident and optimistic for you? Like what are the
like I do have those moments where it's just like